Well, it's that time of year again. It is the Christmas season, which involves many traditions, and one of them that should be, if I had my way, I would sign it into law that it would be a Christmas tradition that everyone watches the SpongeBob Christmas special, also known as Christmas Who. All that said, there is a lesson within the episode that I would like to talk about today, so if that's of interest to you, then stick around. The premise of the episode is as follows. SpongeBob is told all about Christmas for the first time. Sandy explains to him all the details of decorating, gift-giving, being jolly, and, of course, Santa. SpongeBob then tells the entire town what he has just learned about Christmas. And so they too are now enthusiastic about Santa and all things Christmas. Everyone is ecstatic. That is, everyone but Squidward. As SpongeBob and the entirety of Bikini Bottom are writing their letters to Santa, singing Christmas songs, and decorating their properties, Squidward refuses to even humor SpongeBob by writing a letter to Santa. Come Christmas Eve, and the whole town, besides Squidward, begins to sing, SpongeBob even exclaiming, "Come on, everybody, let's sing till Santa gets here." Come the morning, and everyone is severely disheartened and disappointed, for Santa, unfortunately, did not show. The fish then erupt in their disapproval and bolt off. Then remain only SpongeBob and Patrick, and soon enough, only SpongeBob. Squidward then goes outside to gloat and make fun of SpongeBob. He brings out a megaphone and shouts "Merry Christmas," and then snaps a photo of SpongeBob. But while he is gloating, SpongeBob then hands him a gift. He made it for Squidward so he wouldn't feel left out when Santa came. Squidward sheepishly accepts the gift, then opens it as SpongeBob proceeds to take down his decorations. The gift was in fact a custom clarinet made out of driftwood. It was, in Squidward's words, the greatest gift he had ever gotten. He realized only then that all SpongeBob wanted to do was spread a little joy. He realizes also that he has to right his wrong, which simply means to apologize, right? Wrong. He decided to go above and beyond just apologizing. But in fact, he threw on a Santa outfit that he happened to have on hand and exclaimed from his rooftop, "Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho!" SpongeBob at first can't seem to find Squidward, or Santa, but once he does, his day is made. Squidward Claus then explains to SpongeBob why he doesn't look quite like SpongeBob had assumed and heard he would look. He then states to SpongeBob, "I didn't bring Christmas to Bikini Bottom. You did." This seems to have been enough to satisfy SpongeBob, as Gary carried him away. But just as Squidward is getting ready to take off the Santa outfit, a little girl appears, expectant and excited for her present. He opted to give her a wrench of sorts, which seemed to satisfy her. Now, at this point, Squidward is definitely ready to call it a day. But his day is far from over, for numerous other fish have now gathered outside his house in order to receive their presents. Squidward then proceeds to give away nearly everything he owned, in his words, just so SpongeBob wouldn't be sad. How kind of him. There are actually quite a few things to learn from this episode, but there's one lesson in particular that I'd like to mention. If you find a good deed necessary, then do it, regardless of how extra or unnecessary it may seem to others. And the flip side of that coin is also the case. If you view something as wrong, regardless of anyone else's opinion or view on the matter, then for you, it is wrong, which goes hand in hand with the first idea. The idea being that, with this specific example, Squidward could have simply apologized for being a jerk. But no, he thought it was necessary to go above and beyond for SpongeBob. Therefore, it was necessary for him. But if anyone regards something as unclean, then for him, it is unclean. So for one who knows the right thing to do and does not do it, for him, it is sin. And this is the NIV translation of the same verse. It reads, "If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them." I should clarify that this is not to say to do every deed that might be of some good, for no one could even attain that. Giving away your home could possibly do some good, but it could also do some bad in that you and your family now have no home. All that to say, like with anything, there is a way to become too legalistic. But don't use that as an excuse to be too lax either, because it's easier to do that than to go too far the other way. More specifically, I do what is mine to do, and the rest does not disturb me. The idea I get from this is that we all have unique tendencies, proclivities and hearts that God made us with. Therefore, for example, I may see a piece of trash on the floor and feel that I should do the janitor a favor and pick it up, whereas for others it wouldn't have even crossed their mind. And you also may be good at noticing when an individual is in need of an encouraging word, and yet still some other people would never notice. So do what is yours to do, to the best of your ability. I should clarify that in this specific example of Squidward literally giving away just about everything he owned, the context of that being necessary is probably nearly unheard of. The thing he originally set out to do, though, by being Santa for SpongeBob, was very attainable, though it may have seemed excessive to some, again. But nonetheless, do what is yours to do. But also, know when your kindness is being abused. That idea is talked about at length in a previous video. This is an idea that I've recently come to adopt. It's to live a life that not only is glorifying to God, but that also earns your respect. This means even what you do while alone is important. You may think that small acts, even acts done absent of anyone else, as in it involves only you, can't have much of an effect on the world. Well, that's certainly not the case. What you do or don't do affects everyone, whether you realize it or not. If for no other reason, then it influences who you are and who you become. If, for example, you feel convicted about using bad language, but you keep using it anyway, you will feel less and less bad about it. Then that whole process could transfer to other areas of life. You may begin to eat unhealthy food, watch things that you shouldn't, and treat people poorly. In the words of Jordan Peterson, everything you do matters. Everything. When you act and live contrary to the way you know you ought, that is quite literally how you lose yourself. So again, to reiterate the point clearly, quite simply, if you know something is right, then do it. If you know something is wrong, don't do it. Whether anyone else thinks the good deed is necessary or not, if you think it is, then it is for you. And likewise, whether others are okay with a specific act or deed, if you think it's wrong, then for you it is, so don't do it. Do check out my recent video about Patrick's Valentine rampage to learn a valuable lesson on anger and self-control. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope that this helps you, so apply it today or wherever and whenever applicable. Remember to treat others the way that you want to be treated, and to love God and love your neighbor, and therefore you will continue to be a good person. Thank you for watching, and as always, it's